We're gonna go on a little bit of a journey in this video, and I wanted to open this one up by saying that I'm not really all too smart. We're talking about the Calgary Flames, but I'll admit I don't know too much about the Calgary Flames. I know they're a hockey team, they play in the Pacific, etc., but this topic requires a lot more knowledge in order to really go into it, that what I wanted to do in this video was kind of try to get that knowledge on the fly. And the reason we're making this video is because I saw a tweet made by James Johnson on Twitter regarding some comments that Elliotte Friedman made on the 32 Thoughts podcast. Take a look at this tweet that popped up on my timeline earlier today. Nazem Kadri has been very vocal about what he's seen in Calgary this season and why they aren't firing on all cylinders. He's been very blunt about the communication between players and the coach. Frustration boiled over on Saturday night. Okay, so I saw this and I was like, wait a minute, what the heck happened with the Calgary Flames? Again, I don't know anything about this team, but I did see the highlights of that Saturday game and the ending. The Dallas Stars game, Jason Robertson, overtime, goalie interference, no goalie interference, whatever, the referees, and Jacob Markstrom went out there and slamming his stick on the bench because he was frustrated with the call. Okay. Now, the Calgary Flames this season, if you go over to the NHL standings, I need to do this too, just to kind of get a contextualized view as to where everything is. The Flames right now are currently outside the wild card. They've got 77 points, 70 games played. They are 4 points behind the Winnipeg Jets with 1 game in hand. So they're actually kind of not really projected to making the playoffs right now, especially since they're 4-3-3 in their last 10 games. But this comment made by Friedman was followed up by this. James Johnson says, I believe that makes it 1 former Flame and 3 to 4 current Flames that have called out Sutter this season. Now, I know the tweet isn't necessarily saying anything about Sutter, but it kind of goes out there and it talks about the structure and the way the team has been playing as a whole, and in a way, by proxy, that does kind of go down to the coach. But when it comes to Nazem Kadri in particular, he's a guy that, if you take a look at this season, he's got 49 points in 70 games played. Pretty big drop-off from his 87-point year last year in 71 games. That was a 100-point pace season. Now, I've been very vocal about my own personal tribulations with this guy, and I say that super dramatically. It's not dramatic. I had him on my fantasy team this year, and he definitely did not live up to expectations, but that indeed was something that I was sort of noticing throughout the year. Wait a minute, Kadri isn't really scoring all too much. We know that this is a great personality. You see that in his interviews. He's still Nazem Kadri, but when it comes to the production, what's been going on here? Nothing as of what we expected. Same could be said about Jonathan Huberdeau. That guy was a 115-point guy last year. Take a look at Huberdeau this season. He's got himself 46 points in 67 games played. You know who leads this team in scoring? Tyler Toffoli. He's got 61 points in 70 games. Last year, you had 2 100-point guys in Johnny Gaudreau and Matthew Tkachuk. You had Elias Lindholm, who was a point-per-game player, and then everybody else followed suit after that. This team, this year, does not have that same caliber of production, has really not gotten that mojo out of their newer guys in the ways that we thought they would, and as a result, they're out of the playoffs. At least, right now they are. Everybody said, myself included, hey, you're losing out on Gaudreau, you're losing out on Tkachuk, but you're adding another 100-point caliber player in Huberdeau, and you're adding a guy who was on pace for 100 points last year in Kadri. You shelled out big money for these guys, too. And now, they're both disappointing in terms of their numbers. This is the comment thread on the Our Flames subreddit of this same tweet that we just looked at from James, with so many connected people saying pretty much the same thing. Then you add in Kadri and Huberdeau's clear frustration, plus Tkachuk's multiple not-so-veiled shots at Sutter, plus Valimak, you know he's clearly doing much better in Arizona. There's a ton of smoke. And if it's at best costing key signings to underperform, or at worst costing the Flames star players like Tkachuk and a first-round defenseman like Valimaki, at what point does the management suck it up and make a change? The reply here says, management has never brought in a coach that's lasted more than 3 seasons. I'm not sure I want them in charge of making that decision again. 5 coaches in 8 years is abysmal. Another comment here says, I don't know how this could surprise anybody. A lot of players in this team looked like they checked out on Sutter a long time ago. RoboChobo, the guy who posted the thing, says obviously Kadri is playing like crap too, so take this with a grain of salt, but it's become a chicken or the egg situation. Is Kadri playing like crap because he's frustrated, or is he frustrated because he's playing like crap? Yeah, and he's a turnover machine at the moment. And then you have more comments going out there debating whether or not Sutter is really the problem. Oh, he's the coach of the year, the reigning coach of the year, and Nazem Kadri looks really, really bad. At least that's what I've gathered from what a lot of Flames fans are saying right now. But you know what I really hope? I hope that this video goes out there and sort of gets turned up, around, and upside down right away. The Flames have themselves a game later today against, who are they playing? The Kings? Let's Google that right here. Yeah, the Kings, 7:30 p.m. PST. So this video is going to be uploaded just a few hours before everything goes down. But I did want to also bring up a few memes that were bringing themselves up too, because there were a lot of Canucks fans I saw trolling the Flames on Twitter because, hey, you guys got a whole bunch of former Vancouver Canucks. What did you expect? Y'all are going out there losing games and being disappointed in your coach and not having the best showcase out of your guys. And Canucks fans were poking fun saying, yeah, well, you got Toffoli, Tanev, Markstrom, Stetcher. These guys are used to losing, so it's not like they're going to be the ones bringing you back up and making you win hockey games. Okay, maybe not the case for Toffoli. He's been really good as of late. I've seen the highlights. He's been scoring some really clutch goals, game-winning goals, and game-tying goals. Toffoli has been great, but aside from that, when you have a team that's got Nazem Kadri, you've got Jonathan Huberdeau, you've got Lindholm, you've got all these guys, and your top scorer is Tyler Toffoli, I'm sorry, man, but that's not great. Like, I watched Tyler Toffoli as a member of the Kings ever since he was a rookie. He won Stanley Cups in LA. Then he went over to Vancouver. He did what he did in Vancouver here. Then he went to Montreal. He was fantastic there. But Tyler Toffoli should not be your top point guy. You're underperforming if he is. So the rest of the Calgary Flames, y'all gotta step it up, I guess. Darryl Sutter, I personally am not smart enough to identify what it is with the system that really has not worked, but just based off of the growing sentiment in Calgary Flames subreddit discourse, it appears that this is a problem too. So if you're smarter than me, which I guarantee, like maybe 90% of you are, let me know in the comments, what exactly is it with Darryl Sutter and his system that is making this team suffer? Why has this team gone from such a successful story from last year to arguably getting better on paper in the postseason, or not the postseason, the offseason, and then underperforming in 22-23? What happened here? Why are these guys performing poorly? And if you want to get a little bit into the nitty-gritty, then hey, feel free to explain what exactly it is with these players that has been making them underperform. For Nazem Kadri, I'm seeing a lot of comments about his back-checking, about his turnovers, about his offensive output. Everybody's talking about the vision, whatever. What exactly is it with Sutter's system that's making this team so difficult to succeed right now? I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below because I am genuinely curious. The game between Calgary and LA might be on Sportsnet. I don't know if I'm going to watch it. I have some stuff to do later tonight, as I have been the past few days, but yeah. Thoughts in the comment section below about the Calgary Flames. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.